So today I'm doing a quick review on a new watch that I picked up. This was a watch that I've had mine for quite a while and didn't make the plunge for it until literally last week. I was debating whether I wanted it, whether I really liked it enough to spend the kind of money that I was going to spend on it. They seem to be getting harder and harder to get, so I thought to myself, why not? It's a rose gold GMT. I was actually looking for the bimetal one, and I got a phone call to say the bimetal one's there. So went, tried it on, absolutely loved it. And then whilst I was there, I got told that there's an all gold one if I would like to try that on. And literally as soon as I put it on my wrist, I fell in love with it. The watch that I bought previously to this rose gold piece was my Sky Dweller on the left. It's a blue face Sky Dweller, beautiful watch, and it's one that when I put on, I think to myself, yeah, it's a hard watch to beat. There's not really anything else that I prefer wearing to the Sky Dweller at the moment. But that all changed since I put the rose gold GMT on my wrist. It just seems to have such a perfect balance. I do wear quite often my deep sea, so I'm used to a heavy watch. Sky Dweller being a little bit lighter, a little bit smaller. I've started to go for slightly smaller watches now. Just don't know what it is as I've got a little bit older. Now in my very early 40s, different kind of taste to when I was in my late 20s and 30s. When I was younger, it was all about big watches. I loved a big watch, and that's why I've always had a Sky Dweller, being the biggest watch Rolex do. A deep sea, being the biggest watch they do. Always fell in love with that watch, and it's just a watch that I've never been able to like literally take off. It's always been my go-to everyday watch. Recently, that changed with the Sky Dweller. Rolex have done it to me again now. They brought something else that I absolutely love, and what I love about the GMT, it's that little bit smaller. It's still got a great weight to it in rose gold. You can really feel that you've got a watch on, and it just seems to tick all the boxes for me at the moment. I can't seem to get enough of wearing this watch. Since I put it on, I just don't want to take it off. It's a beautiful, beautiful piece. For me, just the rose gold looks amazing. It's not, I thought it'd be a bit over the top, but then when I had the bimetal GMT on, also with the rose gold in it with the steel, just didn't do it for me as much as this one. This just seems to like have everything that I absolutely love. Yes, it's a little bit over the top. You can't really wear it every day. It's not an everyday watch, but it's a beautiful watch. Just the way that the bezel feels when you rotate it, it's just got like a beautiful little notch to it. It's really hard to describe. Rolex has done a great job on it. Doesn't have the normal, like you would hear on the deep sea, that clicking noise. It's just got a very nice little notch. The way it just goes round, it just falls into place. The watch itself is fantastic. Can't fault it in any way. I tried because I really didn't want to spend the money that I was going to spend on it, and I was thinking to myself, I don't need it. And I looked at it long and hard. Literally took me about an hour to decide whether I wanted to get this watch or not, and I just couldn't find anything to put me off it. It looks amazing on. I just think it's a beautiful piece. I'm not sure what you guys think about it, whether you guys are into rose gold or not. It'd be interesting to see what you think. If you leave some comments, see if you think I made a good choice or a bad choice on it. On, it feels great. I think to look at, it's a real showstopper. I was debating whether to get a rose gold Daytona, but there's just something about the Daytonas that, I don't know why, I've said it a few times before, I'm not a huge fan of the Daytona, and it all comes down to the date. I really do like my watches to have a date on them. and without the date, I never really feel like it's just missing something. I'm never going to use a chrono. It's just something I'm not going to use. If I'm going to need a chronograph, I'll use my phone. Yes, you could say you can use your phone to tell the time and to check the date, which you can. And 9 times out of 10, I do. But when you've got it on, it just looks fantastic. Literally wore it out to dinner last night, and I was getting a lot of compliments on it. And it's a shame because it's another watch that, with everything going on at the moment, and with just people looking to try and take anything away from you that you can enjoy, it's getting harder to wear these kind of watches out and about, and just going for a general drink with mates or for dinner. You've really got to be careful nowadays. So I've literally pulled these ones out of the safe to do a review on them. It's a bit frustrating because every time I want to do a review on something or I get something new, I've got to put them back in the safety deposits where I keep them. So to get them out like I did have to today, I've literally got to make a phone call, book in advance, get down there. And it's getting to the point where I'm starting to think, is there a point of having these watches when you just can't keep them at home anymore, and for insurance reasons, and you can't put them on when you want to put them on. But when you do finally get one out and wear it, it just kind of makes it worthwhile. And this is a beautiful piece. I think it's going to be something that's going to give the Sky Dweller a real run for its money. Sky Dweller is phenomenal. I do absolutely love the look of this watch, and it was hard to fault, and that's why buying the GMT was even that much harder, because as you all know, the Sky Dweller has a GMT function in it. So I was sitting there thinking, why do I need a GMT? But then when you put it on your wrist, it just makes it all worthwhile. And what I would say is, if you can ever get an opportunity to pick up either or, you'd be more than happy with either or. I don't think there'd be anyone that would say then it's not a nice watch. What I love about these two Rolexes in particular, they're so well balanced when they're on the wrist. They sit well, the size is great, the weight of them is fantastic, for me anyway. Some people might not like them. Look, not everyone's a Rolex fan. I used to absolutely hate Rolexes. I definitely wasn't a Rolex fan for many years. I pretty much went through many different brands before I got to Rolexes. And for me, the reason I wasn't a fan is, like, everyone that wanted to show they were wearing a nice watch would go and buy a Rolex, because they just wanted everyone to know they're wearing a Rolex and it must be an expensive watch. And for you guys out there that know, you can spend a hell of a lot more money and buy something with a much higher workmanship than a Rolex. But at the moment, my mind has changed, and I think the reason I've gone more to Rolex with my collection, they're a great value for money. I don't know anything else that you can pick up for 30 grand. That's all gold, that looks the way this looks, and makes you feel great when you wear it. What you're going to buy, you're going to have to spend double the money to get an AP, or 3-4 times the money to buy a Patek. It's just, there's nothing else in this price range that literally does what this can do for you. So for me, it's just a no-brainer, and hopefully with time they'll go up in value. So they're decent investments. I've already seen these going for a little bit more than what I've paid for it. Yes, I paid list price, which was 30,650, I believe. I see them trading out there for about 34s, 33s, some people asking 36s. I know that this watch in the next year, 2 years, will be a 40 grand watch. It might take 2 years to get there. I don't know. Could be quicker with the way things are going. Everything's just taking ridiculous increases where you can't get hold of anything decent anymore. ADs are just not letting them go out. Funny enough, I went to before I picked this one up with the company that I got it from, because they look after me quite well. I actually asked to look at one of these watches, the rose gold GMT, and I got told that there wasn't any, And because with that particular company, I never had a previous spend. They said they wouldn't even take my name down for one unless I had a previous spend with them, and that wasn't the case 6 months ago. Because 6 months from the same AD, I got offered this rose gold piece, and I just didn't go down to look at it. I was busy. It wasn't something that really crossed my mind. So when I was presented with it, I thought to myself, why not? Couldn't see a reason why not to get it. The only thing that I don't have many of at the moment is blackface dials with a black dial. I've gone to mainly blues, other colours, where most of my watches are now a different colour dial, just to have something a little bit more different to what everyone else has. So this kind of broke the norm with the black dial, but I love it. Even the bezel, it's very subtle. The chocolatey colour brown in the bottom half just sits well. It's not in your face. It's very discreet. Well, as discreet as a gold watch can be. But because it's not a yellow gold, it doesn't really throw it out in your face too much. You kind of can still go unnoticed a little bit. When you wear a yellow gold like sub or something like that, that really pings a lot. And that's one thing that I noticed when I put the bimetal GMT on, which is also rose gold. Because it sits next to the steel, the gold and steel next to each other, the gold really stands out a lot. This particular piece doesn't do that. I don't know, it's as weird as it sounds. And to the point where if you've got it just on its own, if I can just close this off, I'll show you what I mean. I've even had someone say to me, they didn't realise it was rose gold when it's like that. It's only when you put it next to, if I show you another steel piece, that's where you can see the gold really does stand out at that point. So at the moment, really happy with it. Definitely a watch that I don't regret getting, and hopefully I can get some use out of it. At the moment, again, it's a shame because these are going to be going away. Deep sea, that's been my go-to. I'm probably not going to be wearing much more. I'm going to put that away as well. I've kind of going to take a little break and give my collection a little change around. Something else that I've got my eye on that's a little bit more unnoticeable and not going to get as much attention. So let me know what you think, and whether you think I made the right move getting this rose gold. I wasn't sure. Usually I'm pretty sure when I get a watch. I know straight away, yep, I love it, I want it. This one literally took me an hour of debating whilst I had it on my wrist whether it was worth parting with that much money for. I think I made the right move, but I'll be interested to see what you guys think. And if you want to see any more posts or anything else of any questions or any other watches that you want to see reviewed, I've got a couple of other ones I don't really review too often, but I do want to start doing a few more. So yeah, I'll be interested to see what you think. And if you had the choice out of the two, I know most people's choice isn't the deep sea, so I won't put that one into it because it seems like there's only very few people that like the deep sea. It's a bit too big for most people. It's not been the most popular Rolex, I don't think. This one's a James Cameron, so it's one that will definitely stay in the collection forever, purely because you just can't get it. It's a series one, so it's been discontinued. But if you could only pick one and you took value out of it, and they were both worth the same amount of money to buy new, I'd be interested to know which one you'd pick out of these two, whether it would be the blue face Sky Dweller or the rose gold.